Sorry, we're getting a couple minutes of a late start here. It's just 4,000 degrees outside, and even though I'm inside in in Minnesota, I did. I'm not gonna say exactly what happened. I'm gonna say there was a scuffle. I'm gonna say there's a little bit of a scuffle. Maybe some hands got thrown. Maybe some helmets got pulled off. But I'm looking outside and I see a squirrel currently toweling off its own brow. So I don't. I mean, it's just that kind of hot right here.
In your defense, Josh, I do have a really punchable face. So,
But that's true when it's cold out also. And I don't know. It's special. It's the heat. It's 4,000 degrees in St. Joseph. That's the hard part. The good part is that the Kansas City Chiefs drafted Trent Williams at 32 overall. So, I mean, it's just really all about perspective.
I heard it's more the humidity that gets you. So
I'll tell you what, it sure does. Welcome to a jam-packed and a few padded practices in the rearview mirror edition of Only Weird Games. Joshua Brisco and Seth Keysor getting you started. Nate Taylor is still rehydrating as we speak, just as soon as his body is back to being whatever percentage of water your body is supposed to be. Nate will be joining us as well. A little bit of a skirmish. If you weren't very online today, you may have missed it. Ashton Gelati and Josh Simmons got tangled up after I think it was a 9-on-7 drill. Went through the echo of the whistle a little bit. It's chippy on July 29th in St. Joe when it was genuinely 95 degrees, and I think Matt Derrick said it was around 120. Feels like down on the field level there. That's cruel and or unusual. Actually, it's not unusual. It's just cruel.
that's gross. It is a lovely 79 degrees here in Minnesota. July and August, best time of the year to live in Minnesota. Although it gets a little hot for me personally.
You know what the Chiefs could do that would be absolutely crazy? What if they decided to have training camp in Minnesota or Wisconsin or something absolutely nuts?
That's ridiculous. That would never happen. So moving on to
as funny of a bit as that is for you and me and everyone our age and older, I'm the last generation of person who will remember hearing the Chiefs go to River Falls. I never went and covered that. They've been at St. Joe for so long now that obviously it's the default, it's the standard. It does feel kind of crazy that they used to just, we're going to go north where people don't just constantly sweat through their uniforms.
Yeah, one thing that's kind of interesting is I will still run into Chiefs fans every now and then that became Chiefs fans because they had training camp in Thief River Falls and they kind of just went as a kid because it was a fun thing to do. And tempers still flare up here in Minnesota occasionally, but I will say here the one problem is the last couple of summers, I don't want to call out Canada, but the amount of Canadian wildfire smoke we've got in the last few summers is just uncool. And it always only comes when it's if you look at the weather map and it's it looks like you might as well be in San Diego. It's 75 and sunny literally every day. That's the week that Canada's why don't we just start our entire forest on fire? Which I can't confirm.
I think that's how they usually start. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I watched the Simmons and Gelati clip, which if I was going to pick two rookies that would end up fighting, it would be Ashton Gelati because his entire play style is basically being in a fit fight. Yeah. And Simmons has been getting the best of him in multiple clips, not just the one that everyone saw where he chucked him to the ground. But I kind of, what I liked about watching them, both of them were doing it, but they were both kind of I feel like I have to do this. You could see. Have
you seen the close-up pictures that have come out more recently?
I have.
The photographers of the Star.
Yeah.
Josh Simmons' face. I didn't even want to tweet it because I don't want an actual discourse here. But the close-up shot of Josh Simmons' face, he looks borderline bored.
Yeah.
Just it's oh God, we're just doing this also. But I think that's a good way to be when you're a developing future Hall of Fame left tackle, as Josh Simmons undeniably is at this point. You may have heard us say some things on Thursday. Those things don't apply anymore. It's Tuesday and the future is bright.
Oh, that was 3 whole padded practices ago. A man grows, as the great Norm Macdonald once said. And I have decided that, 3 padded practices is enough. Well, actually, I wrote about Simmons after 2 padded practices.
2 was plenty.
2 was plenty. And I don't even know where to start with the Simmons hype, man.
Let me set the stage. I'll do this. I'm going to set it up and then you can take it from there because I'm going to just get us there. And then here's how it feels. I feel like I am right here now on Only Weird Games, a Chiefs podcast that people listen to of their own volition. They care what we think, Seth. They come to us to find out, am I overreacting? Am I underreacting? Well, what do these established voices in the space, what do they think? Here's what I think. I think the Josh Simmons hype train is out of freaking control. I think it has nearly not only got up to terminal velocity, we are about to jump off the rails. This train is a runaway, and I am afraid, and it needs to slow down. Choo-choo. While I am wearing the conductor's hat, I have the conductor's horn. I am hanging out the window. I'm putting more coal in if we're still using coal. I'm pulling down the levers. I'm honking the horns. And I feel like you're here too, Seth. And that's the thing that should scare people even more. And I know when Nate gets here, Nate's not going to be the one to pull the brakes, emergency or otherwise.
Yep.
It looks different and it feels real. It's been 3 padded practices, but here's the one nugget I wanted to give before we begin to completely not overreact, but strongly react to a smaller sample size. 3 players on the Chiefs offensive line have gotten every first team rep. It's been Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Josh Simmons.
Yep.
Jawan Taylor wasn't out there at the very beginning. Got a little bit of rotation at right tackle and left guard, which we'll talk about more later. Josh Simmons has been a constant, and his reps have been good. You wrote about him in the Chief in the North newsletter off of 2 padded practices at training camp. And I don't think you were wrong to do that. What got you there? Why did you decide, no, it's fair. This is good enough. It's time.
And one thing that I love to do is to be somewhat hypocritical and then explain why I'm not being hypocritical. Which that's probably a red flag, honestly.
Right out of a hypocrite's playbook, for sure.
Yep. Here's what I would say. One of the things that we talked about and that I wrote about is things that matter and don't matter at training camp. Individual reps. One individual rep it's not that important. These things happen. We don't know what people are working on. You're going to have awesome reps. You're going to have terrible reps. I have yet to see a single clip of a terrible Josh Simmons rep for what it's worth. Now, I've only probably seen about between 15 and 20 reps. Actually, probably more like 25 or so since pads came on when you include the team drills and stuff. Haven't seen a single one where he's looked bad. That's whatever. Here's the big thing. What I did say, consistency is what matters. And over the course of 2 or 3 padded practices, you can get at least a gauge of consistency in certain situations. And that's one thing that's happening here is that it really is. I've actually found myself looking for bad reps because I think that's important because I think people are going to start to get this expectation that Simmons is going to come in and play at an all-pro or even Pro Bowl level this year. And that is like essentially unprecedented at left tackle. If he can be average, and I will say this again, if he can be average with flashes of a much higher ceiling, knocked it out of the park in year 1. With Simmons, one of the first questions I think people are going to automatically ask is, well, what about what happened with Kingsley Suamataia last year?
Well, I'm annoyed you're starting with this because this was the one I was ready to ask you follow-ups about.
Right. There was a lot of hype. Well, you know what I'll do? I'm going to talk about why I'm hyped, and then we'll do that.
Okay.
Here's the consistency matters, rep after rep after rep, who it's up against, how it looks. One thing that's important with Simmons, we already knew he was a tremendous athlete. His upper body power kind of got glossed over when he was coming out because people were so focused on what a great athlete he is. When I wrote about him, one of the things that surprised me was that really noticeable, powerful hands, powerful upper body, and enough lower body power to re-anchor. You usually don't have. One of the things I liked about Suamataia, even though he was much less consistent, was he had lower and upper body power. Suamataia had good both in college, but it wasn't consistent. With Simmons, his upper body power was elite in college, just like his athleticism. Something you can only tell once the pads come on. Does that translate? Well, okay, why don't we have you handle a bull rush from a 280-pound defensive end with 36-inch arms and see how you handle it? Oh, you stonewalled in first rep? Run it back. We're going to do it again. Oh, he knocked you back this time. What are you going to do? Oh, you re-anchored and held him up. Oh, you did that with Mike
This is
Dana
not
too.
hypothetical. This is directly across from Charles
This is
Omenihu,
what's
just if you haven't seen the
literally,
clip.
these are just the things that you're seeing on tape. Mike Dana can't run through him. Karlaftis can't run through him. The only things that I've seen is occasionally guys getting around him into the pocket. And I mean, one rep that someone was like, oh, Simmons lost here to Dana. Dana went around him at like 11, 12 yards in the pocket. That's not a loss. That's not a loss for a tackle. 9 yards. And by the way, I want to be careful how I said. I'm not guessing when I say the Chiefs coach their offensive linemen at tackle to keep it clean at 9 yards. I'm not guessing there. That's a fact. And so if you see someone, quote unquote, corner, if you're forcing them to even try to corner at 11, 12 yards, the fact that you're able to make them corner and not get a straight line when Mahomes drifts that far back, because that's what happened there. There was interior pressure on this rep that made the rounds. Mahomes drifts back 11, 12 yards. What happened last year when he did that was the edge had a straight shot at him. No cornering involved because Suamata-Ia, as good of an athlete he is, he didn't have as much lateral agility. And Wanya Morris in particular couldn't get there in time to force them to corner. It was more of a straight shot, right? Or even just a tiny bend. If you're forcing them to fully corner at 11 yards, that's a win. And so you see snap after snap like this. You see him demonstrate the upper body power that you weren't quite as sure would translate. You see the obvious movement skills, the fluidity. Jeff Schwartz mentioned this. Jeff Allen mentioned this. Mitch Schwartz has said a bunch of complimentary things. The way he moves is so under control. And that's a big thing. There's a difference between athletic and fluid. And with Simmons, he's just fluid, man. He is just so fluid in how he moves, and you see it in every rep. Now, again, I fully expect him. We're going to see some horrible rep at some point. There's going to be some rep where Chris Jones just slaps those hands down in corners at like 6 yards. We're going to see a rep where Omenihu just puts him on his rear, or Karlaftis just exhausts him into submission. We're going to see that. But as of right now, the reason I felt comfortable writing about it, when you've got the college pedigree and when you see 2 consecutive padded practices, and then today, I actually quote tweeted my own article, say we had another padded practice day. It was the same thing. Good rep after good rep after good rep. Pro tip for people that there's a lot of people at camp taking a lot of videos, and as phones get better every single year, those videos get better and better. The thing to watch during team drills, you're going to want to watch Xavier Worthy. You're going to want to watch Rashee Rice. Those are the times to really watch those reps. And some of them, it's a play action boot the other way, whatever. But some of them, he's on an island, and watch what it looks like. Oh, he dominated FAU. Well, FAU is, not a very good pass rusher. Precisely. That's what it's supposed to look like. If you're good, you're supposed to dominate those reps. And so that's why I felt comfortable writing about it, is because it's been consistent over the course of 2 and now 3 practices. And the way it's being done, the how matters so much. And then, the only next step is, okay, how many good practices in a row does he stack together? And how many snaps does he get in that first preseason game?
And we can get to the way that the O-line shuffled around and what that means for the remaining lowering number of vacant positions. But it does seem evident now. We knew at the beginning, hey, Josh Simmons got out there at left tackle first practices. They want to give him a chance to win this job. You put him out here, and then ultimately you let him try to just hold on for dear life. Don't lose this job.
Right
now, as Nate Taylor joins us 2/3 of the way down a Gatorade bottle. Nate, you don't even know what I said that you were. I just said you were hydrating, and then you'd be back, and you proved that to be true. It seems so evident now that not only was Simmons put in that spot with some trust, obviously his knee is not a concern. Now we're 3 padded practices in, and all he has done is justify that decision of, hey, let me go out there and prove that that's my job, and then maybe I won't let it go for a decade or so. Nate, we can't actually do our analysis from a decade in the future. We can't even do our analysis from the first preseason game in the future. We're still a little bit a ways from that, although not as far as you might think. But where do you stand now? What have you heard? What have you seen being out there in the 1,000-degree weather, just absolutely roasting in St. Joe, or maybe steaming? I don't know. It's you wouldn't want to cook food the way that St. Joe is cooking you guys out there. It's simply cruel. What has impressed you the most about Josh Simmons' first 3 days in pads as a professional?
Hello, everyone. All I've been doing is drinking water and Gatorade, and water and Gatorade. I even went to the gas station as I was leaving Pleasant St. Joseph to get what's the souped up version? What's the Super Saiyan version of Gatorade now? The Gatorade
Pedialyte or something?
the,
You're just
the Gatorade Hydrate.
staying in the brand. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So today, and I've already written this for ESPN.com, but today had all the makings for this to really be the hardest day of training camp this season. There won't be another day quite like this where it's the third straight day in pads. We're beyond sore. We're beyond I hate my teammates. I'm beyond I hate my dorm. We're beyond all that. We're really out there. As Andy Reid diabolically said, we have officially ramped up, guys. It's 2:25, 2 hours, 25 minutes. And also
Long drive drill. Long drive drill. Long drive drill. Long drive drill.
Red zone, long drive drill, third down, blitz period. It was noticeable today how downtrodden everyone was. Including myself. So
the media tent. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And believe me, I have stories that I can sprinkle in, but Josh Simmons, and I think it may have been Tucker and Verderam as I listened to them on my drive one of these days on that football show. But yeah, I can't remember if it was Tucker. Remind me if I'm right, Tucker. But just the fact that not only does he look the part, there is no brace, there's no leg compression, there's no let's ease him into this. No, it's over. We went from and I want to make sure I get this right, just to remind you all how quickly this has progressed. Day 0 was Sunday, July 20th. We didn't know anything at that point. The biggest thing we tried to find out that day as a collective group of reporters is Josh Simmons going to participate? And then if so, what do you anticipate his level of participation being, Andy Reid? Andy Reid said, hey, he didn't go anywhere. He ain't going on vacation. All he been doing is rehab. So he's going to participate. All right, great. Good on the young man. In a matter of 9 days, no one on this team is discussing Josh Simmons as a possibility. They're discussing him as a certainty. It took 9 days. There's no rotating. There's no competition. I don't know if you got to the Ashton Gelati of it all, but
we did. We started there. Mm-hmm.
We don't. Guys, look at the rep. Ashton Gelati's trying so hard, and he's not. It's just they're not in the same class. So I got to show this guy that I don't know, man. I've been thinking all day if I'm going to curse on this show or not, because that's how deep we're into camp. All right,
dude. 3 more days into camp, you're not going to be thinking about it. It's just going to come out. So that's
I
have some credit for your restraint.
I understand. I am being tempted to curse, but it's like Ashton Gelati's trying to prove to himself, his teammates, and the coaching staff, you ain't gonna throw me down like that again. You're not. You're not gonna do that again. So the next day, at 9-on-7, this poor man said, "You know what? I'm gonna set the edge." There was no edge, guys. There was no edge. He was blown off the ball to the point where he's like, "Come on, man." And this is critical now, because I think this is what Trey Smith is trying to get Kingsley Suamataia to get his mindset of like, no, who cares if the refs are here? They're not gonna call it every time. So mush him. Continue to mush him. They ain't even got to teach that to Josh Simmons no more. He's already doing it to Ashton Gelati when Ashton Gelati says, you can't keep punking me in front of everybody. So maybe Ashton Gelati said the magic words. Again, guys, I'm doing a lot not to curse. And then Josh Simmons said, son, I don't think you get it. It's hot out here. I will punch you with my hand through your helmet. And then it was over. It was over. It was over.
Didn't cost another rep. Did nobody else got involved just to split them
Nope.
up? It's what you want. It is teach tape for a training camp scuffle to not evolve into anything more severe than that. Third day of practice, 199 degrees.
Yeah.
I
think
Nate, hang on. I do
Go
want to
ahead.
back things up just a bit because this is going to roll into something that that Josh and I think we're going to get into at some point.
Okay.
You mentioned no one in the building is discussing Simmons as anything other than a certainty. Would it be accurate if one thing people are going to be looking for is a differentiating factor from last year? Because last year, and people forget, last year, Kingsley Suamadi, eventually started getting the first team reps at left tackle. And it happened actually pretty quickly there,
It happened pretty quickly, yes.
Not as quickly.
Right.
And not all the reps.
Which was made more quick by Wanya Morris's injury at the time, right?
Correct.
Gave it a little bit of a ramp up.
Correct.
And so would it be fair to say that the conversations, as much as you're able to say, maybe this is a noise-only segment, because fans, they keep asking me about differentiating factors. Would it be fair to say that the discussions in the building are different regarding Simmons than they were regarding Suamadi at this time last year?
Yes, Lord. Yes. Yes, Lord. You know what? For you guys and for Jesus, I'm not gonna curse. But yes,
I asked
Lord.
him. He said he appreciates it.
Yes, Lord.
We were first though, Seth.
Yeah. So look, with Kingsley, there was like there's a lot of that. Like, look at the athleticism. Look at the feet. Like, okay,
Look at
like
the schedule.
yeah. So Kingsley was a projection, and we all understood that. And look, there were some moments in the preseason where like he looked okay, to where you're like, maybe.
Maybe.
A lot of
There's always a projection.
Now, as we stand today on July 29th, in a matter of 9 days, people, 9, it's it's like, I thought she was pretty, and she knew that I thought she was pretty. And if you're of a certain adult making conscious decisions, it's even
I'm
it's like
this
it's
makes me more
exactly
nervous
what I
than Nate
wanted.
wanting to curse. Okay, good.
It's exactly what I wanted. It's I can't wait to tell the boys. I can't wait.
Romantically, Seth. Romantically.
Okay,
They fell in love.
I still gotta get her breakfast. I still gotta get her flowers. I still gotta set up the date. I'm
Getting married that
you.
quickly isn't always advisable, though.
They
I'm
courted
gonna
they
call
courted in
you.
front of God and their family for
Within the confines of a loving marriage. I mean,
working towards a loving marriage. I don't know if they're confined by it or not at this point in Nate's story, but here,
So-
can I offer two other ways that Seth, you already touched on this, and I'm just going to spice it up a little bit because you mentioned this in the newsletter. It's a really fun read despite it being on 2 training camp padded practices. It feels totally justified despite how small and silly the sample size is. Can I give you 2 other reasons that this is different than Kingsley? Number 1, their college tape.
yes.
Watch some of it. Watch a little bit. Look, we were pretty pro Kingsley. I think that he's got a good attitude. It seemed like the vision was there. Maybe right now he seems to be in line to be this team's starting left guard. This is less about Kingsley and more about Josh Simmons, who before he got hurt was going to be a top 10 pick.
Yes.
I think he has more in common with Trey Smith than he does with Kingsley Suamadi in a lot of ways in terms of their rookie seasons and the ramp up and the way people are talking about them and the training camp dominance and all of that. But one of the differences is just them as players. One is again, legit top 10 talent whose stock may have risen if he would have been able to play throughout the season, and who knows what the draft process is like. Teams have different flavors they want to look at. Every team, I think, would have enjoyed Josh Simmons' flavor of left tackle if they would have thought he was going to be healthy and ready to be a pro.
Yes.
But you have that guy versus a high upside prospect who you like the tools of. That's great. The other thing, you mentioned this in your story, Seth, Jaylen Moore is not Wanya Morris. And at times it was legit. I'm not exaggerating. Like Ethan Driscoll, they didn't have the veteran stand-in in that group. And I liked Wanya Morris and I liked Kingsley Sunomatia, so I was cool with that. But then once Wanya Morris started missing some practices, I think it was another like kind of nagging knee thing, right, Nate? Do I have that right? Was it knee for Wanya back then?
Yeah. Yes, it was. It was basically his knee all season. Now that we can reveal the cover, we take the cover off. Right.
And well, the fact that they were like training camp mid-season at the end of the season, they're like, yeah, his knee's been bothering. I was like, okay, well, hold on, connect it up.
That's the whole season. Yeah,
but Kingsley was, you had every reason to believe in his traits and his tools, but ultimately he won without a real opposition party. Like you kind of go, well, Kingsley's the only guy who can win this job and not make us feel bad immediately. And he did, and they gave him a shot, not a very long shot. We all saw how that happened. There are two things in this process that I don't understand complaining about. One is comparing him to Kingsley. I understand you don't want to get hurt again. Yeah. I've got a Jaylen Moore take for you guys later on in tonight's show. But I feel like that is not something you ought to be stressing about. I think you ought to be enjoying what Josh Simmons is putting together right now and acknowledge it is still training camp. We are still in a small sample size territory.
But, and I can go ahead, Nate.
But at some point, I remember asking Andy on Saturday or whatever, Sunday. Hey, it's day one. I know he got through day one. He got through day one. What are you looking for on day two? All right, well, I want to see how he does in the second half of the second practice. Guys, he threw a man to the ground. And the referee, God bless the referee crew, the officiating crew, our poor referee was just like, I have to be nitpicky because it's training camp. I'm like, yeah, you kind of manhandled him, and that's mostly because like he doesn't have anything left in the rep. So just it's a little bit of a flag. I just got a teachable moment, right? Teachable moment from the officiating crew for the Andy Hex of us to tell Jaylen. To tell Jaylen Moore so that he could tell obviously Josh Simmons. And then all right, well, let's go to team again. And it's like, wow, Mike Dana, you ready to show your best moves on day 2 of padded practice? You sure about that? I was screaming at Charles Omenihu today, Seth, saying, Charles, enough. Give him a spin move, something.
The power-based stuff isn't working. It's just not. Well, and that's one of the things about people hear about a tackle with fast feet, and they automatically think of them as a guy that's constantly redirecting around the edge. That's kind of how Fisher played, but Fisher wasn't built the same way Simmons is. And by the way, is there any player? Just on a complete side note, I'll only take 20 seconds on this. Is there any player who, post his time in Kansas City, has had his image more rehabilitated in the eyes of fans, the hearts and minds of fans, than Eric Fisher? I think everyone appreciates him so much more now than they did for the most part. Near the end, I think people started to appreciate him. Anyway, here's one thing I would note that you kind of picked up on, Josh. Last year with Suamataia, the hype was largely based on the team's decision to hand him the job.
Right.
The hype here is not based on that. That's actually more of a fear this year. The hype is more based on what we're seeing. And the fact that it is coming against, last year, if you look, you would see in whether it's, the veteran beat reporters that are talking about reps in a video, or just a fan out there saying, man, Omenihu or whoever, really, not Omenihu because he was rehabbing. But whoever, Mike Dana or George Karlaftis, really handed it to Kingsley on that play. And it happens. And someone say, oh yeah, rookie will learn.
Right.
I haven't seen one of those. Not one. The only video clip, and Nate, I was telling Josh about this earlier, one where Mike Dana cornered, and I was like, that's not a loss. No. I was like 11 yards. So it's a different thing. Last year, the tail was kind of wagging the dog in terms of hype. The cart was before the horse. The Caboose was before the train. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
We put
metaphors.
the roses
chicken-
before.
the chickens-
before- we had the roses ready for him. He just had to run the race, and then
Right.
and then he didn't finish the race.
It was, and that was so like last year, what we were doing, we were seeing what the team was doing, and then we were kind of trying to extrapolate. I was saying that, okay, well, we see this guy, and again, Kingsley Suamadi is a second-year pro, guys, like who was a traitsy draft pick.
Yep.
He still stands out. He's got incredible traits. Best case scenario for the Chiefs is Kingsley Suamadi keeps Jaylen Moore on the bench, because that means Kingsley Suamadi is playing at you got this 325-pound monster with length on the interior playing next to Simmons, and like, oh wait, we can run power, we can run gap, we can run inside or outside zone, because these guys can run like deer too.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are huge differences with Simmons and Kingsley Suamadi. And Josh, you made a great point. The college tape and the pedigree that they come in with is very different. So there are a lot of differences. Does that mean Simmons is going to be great? No. I hope they let him play more than 11 snaps in the preseason.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
Let's talk about the other spots there, as you just alluded to, Seth, where we saw on Sunday and Monday, Juwan Taylor and Jaylen Moore were rotating at right tackle. Earlier today, Moore and Kingsley were rotating at left guard. I want to fire off a whole Jaylen Moore thought after we kind of set the stage there. But Nate, in the similar kind of phase right now, where is the right tackle and left guard job right in your view for who is the leader in the clubhouse? How close are the margins?
Yeah, I still think Juwan Taylor's the Chiefs' right tackle until proven otherwise. You also have to remember too, Jaylen Moore. They're just giving him more, which is hilarious. The Andy Reid basically said, no, he's our backup left tackle, right tackle, and left guard. I mean, I guess it could be our backup right guard if something happened to Trey Smith, but Trey Smith's been one of the most durable players since he's entered the league. And because you invested a second-round pick and because he is changing positions, and I want to make that very clear, because Kingsley is playing a different position, he does need plenty of reps. He does need plenty of time in the preseason. It's time to see what the investment is on your second-round pick if you have fulfilled the obligation of improving left tackle, right? Now, no one expects him to be Joe Thuney. No one even expects him to be Trey Smith for all that matter, but you need to see what he can do over the course of at least the first half of the season. And Jaylen Moore basically is now a glorified swing everything, not named center. And I know they experimented today. We'll see how much that continues with Jaylen Moore at left guard with the first team. But again, Andy sort of said, we need to get him reps at a multitude of positions. Again, he's not done left tackle yet, but obviously that's what you've played before in the NFL. So, you know, we expect you to be a pro at that when that moment might come necessary. It's a fascinating situation. I know I alluded to it a couple episodes ago that, you know, hey, based on the money of it all, you could be motivated to put Jaylen Moore at left guard because that's an easier transition from left tackle while giving, you know, Josh Simmons the chance to be your jewel of a draft pick. But I understand why the team is thinking it's easier for this guy who we know has played in the league, who we know has good tape, to come into the game if necessary versus we really do need to spend as much time as we physically can preparing Kingsley to really see how we can maximize him from not only just a position change, but year one to year two.
I think it is truly fascinating that, and I believe this, truly fascinating that the guy who was signed as a free agent under the umbrella of this is the new blindside protector for Patrick Mahomes the next 2 seasons, that guy is now this team's 6th offensive lineman, and I think that's great. We have to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to explain why.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner impossible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Folks, nothing beats hanging out with the boys on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And the simplest way that you all can get in on the action is to download the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It is crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part is, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and then use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Sorry. It's really hard to do a podcast that you like care about and really want to be good and smart and memorable and then funny at times. And then the best part of your podcast is Tucker's disclaimer. Little bit. If you didn't see it, you're not going to understand why we were all speechless or cackling after it was over.
Wow.
But it's really hard to be overshadowed by a disclaimer. And Tucker, never stop. Never stop. It's nice to know that we're always going to have one good part of this show, even in the bad episodes.
Correct.
Yeah, that was absolutely epic. I, honest to God, don't remember what we were talking about.
You don't have to. You don't have to, because I was stretching out my radio muscles and I was setting up my own take after the break. So don't even worry your pretty little head about it, because I wanted to give you my Jaylen Moore take. Of course, if either of you disagree, I'd love to hear about it. But what I said before the break and before we were swept away to Tucker's Terminator lair there that he does the ad reads from, the red light, I don't know, or rotisserie chicken, I got under a buffet, I don't know. The red lights was just so deep and powerful.
It was just him showing that he and I are actually mortal enemies. I'm blue, he's red. We're back in the early days of Halo, baby.
You're 100% right. You've got red versus blue, but it's just the color of your guys' lighting. I love that.
Okay. Wow.
Here's the take for me. It's that the guy who was going to be the purported blindside protector for Patrick Mahomes for the next 2 seasons is now the Chiefs' 6th offensive lineman. And if that holds, it's a good thing. Look, I understand that it's not exactly how you'd want to allocate $11 million in a best case scenario, which is what Jaylen Moore's cap hit is this year, which also isn't nuts. It's real money, but like we've lessened the hit of larger cap numbers in the past. If Jaylen Moore is essentially beaten out by a rookie and a second-year player on the left side, it means that Josh Simmons and Kingsley Suamataia have made their case not only as the best answer for this season, they've made their case as a long-term answer for where this team should be building around. If Moore is an $11 million sixth lineman before being a $19 million one-year right tackle answer in 2026, I am completely unbothered by that. Even if you ignore week 18, where obviously they played a bunch of backups last year.
Yep.
The Chiefs got real snaps from 8 different offensive linemen, the starting 5, Wanye, Caliendo, and Humphreys. And obviously, you'd hope there's not a lot of the voluntary shuffling that they did just for levels of play. But guys get hurt, and the Chiefs now have an overqualified 6th lineman who they paid before Josh Simmons was on the roster, maybe before anybody knew what was going on, if it was hamburger or flubber in Josh Simmons' knee. Now, Josh Simmons appears to be having the best case scenario recovery in the history of this injury. These are all good things. Everything here is good. And the only person who I think ought to be bummed about this is Jaylen Moore. But look, man, you're making $11 million to be a swing tackle backup guard this year. And next year, you're going to have a real chance to win another starting job. And you're probably going to have to start at some point between left tackle, right tackle, left guard. And you already said, Nate, it's not like Trey Smith ever missed his time. But things do happen. Injuries happen. And maybe Juwan Taylor's knees barking at him again this season. Maybe Juwan Taylor has a day of terrible penalties. And you say, we're just going to do that thing we did a couple years ago and make a little Band-Aid, swap out, put Jaylen Moore in there to set the floor. That's always what his signing was. We're raising the floor of a unit that cost this team a 3-peat last year. Certainly it was the biggest struggle of last season was the tackle position. They have too many answers now. Sorry for not being bummed about that. I think it was worth the money even now. It was always good process, and I think the Chiefs are better for it. That's my take.
That's a good way of framing it, and it's a good process. One of the things to really nail down there is when they sign Jaylen Moore. You can't wait to sign a safe veteran option that you think won't be bad unless that you're not risking serious injury concerns, etc.
Yes.
You can't do that after the draft. They don't exist. Jaylen Moore had the Chiefs not handed him the deal that they handed him, some other team would have handed him about as much. And honestly, when you look at what Dan Moore got in free agency, I mean, and now to be fair, Dan Moore started all year last year. He's got more years, more games.
He good?
It's also a longer deal with more guarantees, right? Like that.
Right.
If he never starts, it's a whiff. But what we just said, the process was good there.
Right.
Can you imagine, Seth, if we would have gone into the draft and on draft night, this team's starting left tackle was Wanye Morris? People would have pooping their pants. Imagine conferences that Andy Reid and Brett Veach did after the first round. If they would have said, yeah, well, we got Wanye and we like him, but really this guy who's coming off of a knee injury that scared teams away all the way to 32, we think he's actually going to be healthy by late June. We would have thought they were nuts. We would have been like, man, that's a risky bet. So they hedged their bet by adding a good offensive lineman who can also probably kick in the guard.
And when they learned that lesson, 2024, they put a lot of eggs in the basket of Wanye Morris being the dependable veteran guy, and his knee bothered him last year. Morris is a guy that I see on the roster this year regardless because he's cheap depth who can play all over too.
Yep.
And he's started in a pinch and been fine. Now he's also started and had bad games, but that's what happens with average to a little below average offensive linemen. You're going to have some ups and downs there. They're not just constantly average, especially against Max bleeping Crosby. But it shows they learned something in terms of, well, we can't just put all our eggs in the rookie basket. They had no idea that Josh Simmons would fall as far as he did. I understand Houston needs help now, but I can't believe Houston didn't draft Josh Simmons. I imagine the Chiefs, when Simmons fell past Houston, I know I flipped out.
No, that's when it became real. That's when it became not just real, earnest. It became almost like
plausible, at least, right? Like it's
no.
It's happening. It's happening.
I don't even know if plausible is the right word. Because Minnesota went with their guard, Houston went not at tackle after already trading Laramie Tunsil, and everybody else had a quality left tackle in place, which meant I guess we could pick up Howie Roseman's phone call. What?
Right. They traded back. It's still the funniest thing because obviously the Eagles were set. The whole process is good. And Jaylen Moore, here's the biggest thing. If Kingsley Suamataia wins out at left guard and Josh Simmons wins out at left tackle, and it's not because of their draft status, which given the contract they handed Moore, those are two competing things, right? Because draft status
All six
matters.
of those players have a huge sunk cost into them.
Yes. And
Correct.
that's where it kind of takes some of that out because the Chiefs, I mean, this was not the expectation for Simmons this year, even when he was drafted. So it would mean in theory, one would think that the Chiefs think Simmons and Kingsley Suamadi are at least as good as kind of a league average, maybe a little better than league average offensive lineman. That's a huge best case scenario.
Yeah.
And like you said, if your worst case scenario is that now you've got multiple backups that you trust. And in terms of Jaylen Moore, that's great news because we saw what happened last year. We've seen what happened the year before. If this means that if someone gets hurt, the first lineman up is Jaylen Moore, I'm like, oh,
Correct.
because that's what you want out of a backup offensive lineman, a guy who won't be, and we've talked about this before with offensive line, it's a lot like cornerback. I mean, cornerback high-level guys move the needle a little bit more, but I would just say you just want to avoid that guy with the sniper's target on his back. And that happens in offensive line, too. We saw that last year.
Yeah.
We saw how that can completely devastate an offense. And down the stretch, everyone's like, oh, well, they fixed it with Tooney. They sort of did with Tooney and drastically altering the play calling. It can do all sorts of things. If you just need someone who can, as Jesus M says in the chat, Moore can hold his own. If you get a guy who can hold his own, that means you don't have to alter your play calling drastically. You don't have to do all that. It would be the best case scenario. And also in terms of the one person it might be a bummer for is Jaylen Moore. But Jaylen Moore knows if I'm sure his agent has said this to him and probably not coaching staff because that might cause a rift. I'm sure his agent has said, have you looked at Jawan Taylor's cap hit next year? If you don't play this year, bro, you're playing next year.
Fine. Yeah, we're
and
fine.
also Jaylen Moore was
contract year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have a true contract year with the most famous team in America where you can again be hey, Jaylen Moore came in, played. They didn't miss a beat to right tackle. You're going to get paid, dude. You're young. And also, he didn't get a huge first contract as a rookie.
Right.
His signing bonus was $7.5 million. He did get generational wealth. He got a good contract. So I can see I would be a little bothered if I were him, but it's not like he came in with hey, we're going to sign you to a 1-year prove it deal and we're not going to play you.
Right.
So I think it could all work out really well for everyone.
I also want to give a quick shout out here in the comments to Zach Byers, who says after Houston decided not to pick Josh Simmons, it became
They
destiny.
traded back, by the way. That was the Jackson Dart spot, by the way.
Jesus. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said his name in vain, but good Lord. Wow.
Sorry, you had a comment you were going to read before you
Jackson
committed a
Dart.
theological
Jackson
crime.
Jackson Dart. Oh,
Is there a word for that, Seth? Like a 3-letter word that starts with an S?
Zach said
No.
after Houston, it became
Soy?
destiny. And destiny is a great word. That's a great word choice. Destiny. It became destiny that Josh Simmons would be available and would be highly motivated. All these things are intertwined and connected. And he understands where his talent level should have put him. And he also understands that teams weren't willing to make some form of a gamble despite how talented he was. And then, oh, by the way, you get to play with Patrick Mahomes. And if you rehab, you got a real shot at this. And all he's done is rehab and talk to Juan Castillo and talk to Mitchell Schwartz and obviously be in the ear of Andy Heck and just understand that. I mean, the guy looks as good as you could have asked this early. Again, it's only 9 days, but they've already conceded. Kingsley today talked to us in the media tent, and yes, he essentially conceded that it's my job to help him because I went through my own version of this last year, and the sooner I can help him, the sooner he can be even better than he is now. It's like you go. I don't know. This is too politically close, but yes, there are plenty of precincts coming in, but we can project that the state of left tackle goes to Josh Simmons.
Let's talk about somebody else then, Nate. There are, just got a little ding right here that Trey Hendrickson's planning to report to Bengals camp on Wednesday, and no new deal. He's just showing up. So you can go ahead and Everybody can adjust your plans accordingly.
Whoa, hold on. How much am I losing each day? $50K. I mean, I know I took my girl to Florida for a vacation, but it's $50,000 a day. $50 a day. Are they going to give me? I think they'll give me the money back in the new deal, right? Like the Chiefs did with Chris Jones.
They're not gonna.
They're not going to do that. They're the Bengals.
I play for the Bengals.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll. You know what? Me and my wife gonna go home. I guess I'll come into work and see what the guys are up to.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. That'll be a fun next act to follow. Nate, a couple things on the injury front today. Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy both left during practice. I believe you reported that Worthy came back, and then Andy just mentioned him out of the national reports were still putting Worthy in the injured bucket. I was like, that doesn't seem right. I follow Nate Taylor of ESPN.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, he returned to practice. He was fine. He did his normal amount of reps.
Not tremendous concern for Hollywood, right?
No. Now again, tomorrow is a 10-10-10, which means it's a pajama practice. Does Hollywood have to be out there? No. So if you were, I don't know, perhaps a proactive training staff that has apparently done miracles at left tackle, maybe you want to sit I just want to prepare people. You might want to sit Hollywood Brown down for tomorrow's practice because you get Thursday off anyway, and then we come back maybe the pads on Friday. Again, I don't know the schedule too far ahead because sometimes coaches can adjust things. But they won't be in pads tomorrow, and then they get a day off on Thursday. So it's not serious, is what I was told with Hollywood. But I won't be surprised necessarily as if you're listening to this on Wednesday and you look at your phone and you go, well, he didn't practice today. Well, again, tomorrow is a cooling down period of practice after the hell on earth that was today.
I did see one national reporter say that Hollywood could return as soon as tomorrow, which I always love because that's the next practice. He couldn't return sooner than tomorrow. It's tomorrow. We could all die as soon as today. It couldn't be sooner than today because we're alive right now.
Hey. It's training camp for everybody. The refs, apparently the reporters, the players.
And right now, I'm throwing some deep balls and see what I can get away with. You know, I'm not naming names.
I'm not naming names.
I had my coffee today. I don't know what to tell you. Tell me, Nate, has anybody else stood out in a significant way to you in these first few days of pads? You talked a ton about a few about the offensive line.
Okay.
Anybody else pop so far?
All right, guys, here we go. Here's your first edition. All right, just
Bless
hold
yourself.
on with me for a few minutes because I'm getting up there and I gotta look through my.
Can I get you a drink, Seth? Or can I
Look
do
through my
anything for you
list.
there?
I don't know.
Allergies? Or just got something in the air?
All right,
Choked
now
up thinking about Josh Simmons' Hall of Fame speech.
now remember, guys, we are doing this now. Tucker, be ready. I am going to remove my screen per training camp rules.
Nate is a dot in the video, but he is still there.
Okay, here we go. Rashard Smith.
Oh, Tucker, we got to see if we can turn off Nate's mic compressor here. We got to turn off some settings. We got to make sure these all get through. Seth, don't turn off Seth's audio adjustment. Seth is just coughing.
Tyquan Thornton. Dog. Dog. I don't know how to say this man's name. Issa Pohl?
Issa Brick House, more like it.
Okay. Chris Roland Wallace. Keep sleeping on me if you want to.
Not on this show.
Keep sleeping.
Seth gave him a roster spot already. Nate, can I request one more? Maybe Nate's gone. We may have lost Nate. Maybe this bit caught. Oh no, they got him. Oh, Nate's back. There's no audio, but I can see him again. No, still no audio though.
What happened?
Oh man. I don't know what happened. Your video was off, man.
What
I'm back.
happened?
I hear you now. I hear you now.
Can you hear me? I'm here.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. What's your request before I have to go back to my command center?
Punter battle?
All right, now listen.
Aw.
Listen, man.
Aw.
Listen.
Man.
Well, okay, let's move on.
I thought that would be a good one.
No, just a lot of. Come on, coach. It's too hot. Just pick one. Pick one.
Just pick one.
Pick one.
Just pick one.
Is there anyone who does training camp indoors?
Lastly, Felix Enudike Uzama.
That's
It's only 9 days. It's only 9 days.
I got excited when he said his name. Oh, we're gonna get. I don't know what those noises mean. Nate and I haven't talked about this independently. That could mean anything. That's up to you, the listener, to establish for yourself.
So Tyquan Thornton's on the team, and lastly, Seth. No, he's on the team. It's been decided. I don't need to see the preseason. He's on the team. Seth. We've gotten away. Sometimes we get away from the plot, and again, I know the plot is what the plot is. Sometimes we get away from it. Okay, I just want you to know, as we just did the noise, first edition of this year on camp, Nate noises to give you an idea of what's going on. Oh, Nico Remigio, he on the team. I have a bet with someone else who shall not be named that doesn't think Nico's making the team. I'm sorry, Dave Tobe told me he was on the team already.
Yeah.
And I watched Nico. This is a skill, guys. This is a skill. He should have thrown up about 3 times today, because once it was told that Hollywood was not coming back and he had already gone up the hill, hey, bro, you ready to run these routes in this heat with the ones? And Nico says, sure. Oh, my God, it's hot. My body aches. I didn't eat enough, coach. Where's my water, ma'am? Water. He came off the field, water. And he didn't puke. He just kept, he put his head down. He
didn't have any water left.
He took more reps. He was, you could see the water go through his body out of his jersey. It was excellent.
It was excellent. I am a sick person.
As we lose the plot, guys. Everybody knows I make noises. Everybody knows I'm way too talkative in the media tent. I'm sorry. Did you see that throw? Look at this man. What? Sir, that's absurd. Oh, was that sidearm? I didn't even know it was sidearm, because look what the ball's doing when it leaves his hands. My God.
Bailey Zappi's having that good of a camp?
Did he just throw Sky Moore open? Huh? What is happening? Guys, you don't understand.
Oh, he unplugged again. Seth, they'll tell everybody you can read your newsletter, Chief of the North newsletter. I'm in chiefsfan.substack.com. And we'll talk about other things on Thursday. I know Nate has the outro and a monologue for the show. Oh, Nate's back. Okay, Nate. Thanks for being here, Seth.
You don't understand. That wasn't my ball. That wasn't my ball. He's just, guys, he's throwing the football so well. It's like, hey, first rep of the day. Let's air it out. Let's just air it out. It's in the bucket.
I knew Gardner Minshew would be an upgrade on Carson Wentz, but I didn't know it'd be that good. That's awesome.
Let me just drop it in the bucket. Hey, who's that receiver? Oh, I don't even know his name. I'm going to throw him open anyway, okay? Man, me and Kelsey been doing this all day, man. Look at this. Nick Bolton has no choice but to just be my teammate. So look, it's been a great camp through 9 days. And who is this? Guys, come to look. There's no better attraction in the history of St. Joseph than dragging your you-know-what to Missouri Western State to see 15 put it on the place that only Tyquan Thornton could get it. And he got his feet in bounds. And it was in the back corner of the end zone. And it was like, I don't need to see anything else. What's it like watching Daniel Jones versus Anthony Richardson? Because I don't know what that life is. Hey, you want to do long drive drill? Great. I'm going to seed 17 straight seeds. 17 of them, all on a dime. Woo! They can't touch me? Guys, just give them a little protection. Oh. Did you see Bobby's tweet? Did you see Bobby's tweet? Did you see his tweet?
95 and Madden? That's crazy, man.
Did you see Bobby's tweet? They go.
Two quarterbacks in the 99 club. Neither of them were Patrick Mahomes. What are we doing, everybody?
Being stupid and acting like quarterbacks don't get affected by their situation in a way that affects statistics. Like one thing that's really great, you know what? Never mind.
No,
because
no,
I want to go off, but we're
it.
over an hour. But the fact that the way 2024 ended
and
has retroactively changed the way everyone. It's like everyone forgot. Because now what we hear is, well, it's 2 down years in a row for Patrick Mahomes. But after 2023, everyone kept saying, we're never going to do this again. We're never going to do this again. The best in the world. He went on this all-time playoff run, was perfect in the second half and in overtime in the Super Bowl. Unbelievably, mentally, physically. No one's going to question him again. And less than a year and a half later, everyone's like, look, he's had 2 bad years in a row. It's like, come on, guys. We don't have to do this. It doesn't have to be like this. And on a side note, one of the funniest things ever would be if Tyquan Thornton became that dude that ends up playing like roughly 50% of the snaps and has like 30 catches for like 600 yards because they're just
best
all
600 yards
like,
you gonna see, kids.
I will say Tyquan Thornton, if he wants a spot on this roster with the specific skill set of Worthy, Brown, and Rice. How many go routes, how many posts, and how many corners can you run, dude? What kind of shape are you in, Tyquan?
Great
Are
shape.
you able to run
Phenomenal
9
shape.
miles a day? Oh,
Phenomenal shape. I mean, look, man, he's on the team. Okay? He's on
Love
the
it.
team. I don't even know if there's a competition at receiver anymore. And hey, man, can you catch a back shoulder? Look where it is. It's on your shoulder. Hey, can you run across the field? Hey, give me some more whip routes, Rasheed. See where that is? Right, leading you right to the end zone. Because you know what Tramari Connor's not going to do? Be there. Because I'm going to throw you open. Look at that. Huh. I mean, hey, Travis, you want to do another seam ball in your face? Here it is in your face mask. Come get it. The only guy who has a chance to do anything is Trent McDuffie. You know what Patrick's not doing?
He's
Throwing that direction.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, the answer to the question, who stands out in pads, is
Patrick Mahomes.
On that note, Nate, I believe you've got something for us on the way out of here. So please take us home.
Oh God, what a rough transition. Okay, I did text these guys that I was gonna do like a little monologue to get your spirits up for training camp. They didn't know this, only I did. And God bless you, Tucker, because for the next 2 or 3 minutes, we'll do that. All right. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest attraction. He is why you should come to St. Joe if you have the means and the time and the willingness to do it, right? If you want to sweat off 6 pounds like I did today, come on down. You know, when I first did this job in 2018, obviously I was not at ESPN. I was at The Athletic. That was a new venture. I had a certain collection of people around me that I don't have anymore. And I think over time, when you do something repetitive, it can really get mundane. It can get very tedious. It's like, oh, I gotta go to St. Joe. You know, I gotta do this. But there is beauty in like doing something relatively new with ESPN and that being reinvigorated. Yep, RIP to Danielle, even though she's definitely alive.
She's alive. She's
I
alive.
just don't work with her anymore. But I'm happy to see that, like, yes, Anita in 2018, being next to me and Therese, obviously, I came, my rookie season, essentially, It's crazy. My rookie draft class was me, Lynn, Brooke. I don't know. Was that your first year, Josh?
Probably. I had a soft
Josh,
launch over the years.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But like, but basically that was like the rookie class. Josh was in the rookie class as well. And we were all sort of, going through this. And now it's like, I don't have Karen Kornacki anymore. I don't have Adam Teicher anymore. I don't have Therese anymore. And man, it is just, it's tough when you see change year over year. But I really made it a point this year to try to spend more time in St. Joseph and to just relearn everything and reappreciate it. And it's been great. There's been so many fans that have been so nice, who have wanted to chat with me versus watching the football team that they root for practice literally in front of them. I'm like, you're turning your back to the thing that you came to see. It was not me, please, but thank you. That's very gracious of you. And now, like, I rode my bike around downtown St. Joe. It was hot. It was excellent. I went to the brewery, River Bluff. God, it's so good. It's so good. They can really turn you into an alcoholic in a good way. But you got El Lazarone. You got, obviously, the lovely people at...
They can turn you into a pizza-holic in a good way.
In a great way.
I'll co-sign that statement, if only that.
Missouri Western. But look, I met Leslie today. She wanted me to sign her hat. And boys, I did something new. Yeah. I put OWG.
Ooh,
And
I kind of like that.
She knew. And so, like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, if people are this nice, I want to tell you that, like, yes, this thing that we have is our connection through this beloved silly podcast that you can now watch. But I don't know, man. Like, the job sometimes sucks because it's a job. Every job sucks. Nico Remigio hated his job today. And he still went out there and he did it. And I'm kind of falling in love with St. Joseph all over again because it's like not doing it the first time. But I mean, this is year 8, kids. Like, I got real stripes on my arm. I could tell Andy Reid, look at the stripes, baby. I've been here. And look at these young twerps over here who are died in the heat. I tell you, died. Okay, there's this young lady. I'm gonna say too much, but it don't matter. It's great. But there's this young lady.
What a weird thing for Nate Taylor to start doing out of nowhere.
Then they went to a Coldplay concert.
No, they didn't.
Whoa.
Okay, hold on, good sir. Her name is Taylor Bird. She is the news source reporter at Fox 4 alongside Harold.
Congratulations, Taylor.
Yes,
That's awesome.
Yes, awesome. She went to the University of Florida. This is why I'm mentioning her, okay? The University of Florida, Swamp Gator ass America. And she was dying today, guys. Dying. Taylor did her job. She got great footage of Josh Simmons smushing Ashton Gelati aside. But she was dying. You know who wasn't dying? Mackenzie Nelson from Channel 41. Because you know why? Look at these stripes. Mackenzie's like, I've been here. I come to this in all black. I come and I get footage. You know what? I don't need the threes. What? It's incredible, guys. I just want to bring you in because, yes, Rachel's right. There's nothing like melting in the St. Joe sun. And you know what, Taylor? You a rookie. Look at the rookie. Look at her. You got to strain. Keep the camera rolling. Keep the footage rolling. And then, yeah, I just, it's a great time. The people are really nice. You should come.
Have you signed more autographs this year than Travis Kelce so far?
No. Come on. Get out of here. There was one day, I can't remember which day, where Kelce went down the entire, like, as much of the line as you could ask of him. And I just said, he don't hate it yet. He still loves it. Because you know what? It wasn't the third day. You know what Kelsey did? I'm going to sign these autographs before the third straight day in pads.
Yeah.
Before it's 95
Stripes.
degrees.
Stripes on his
baby. Look at the stripes, okay?
Especially on a day when it's hotter than 2 rats in a bleeping wool sock, right?
Swamp Gator ass America. Nate said it.
It was horrid. I'm